And we are live. Okay. I think I got it all figured out. The stream has begun. Welcome, well, most of you probably aren't here yet, but welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the stream. I've got a lot of work to do to perfect this, but this is just kind of me starting out and doing the Hangout session a little bit. I haven't perfected the green screen yet. Hey, we already got someone in the chat. How's it going? Welcome to my first actual stream. I know I did one like this when Steel Curtain was announced, but that thing was a train wreck. So this is me trying again and trying to make it actually look presentable this time. So let's see. We got how many people we got in the chat so far? It hasn't updated yet for me. But this is pretty much just me testing out some live stream stuff, and we can talk about roller coasters and old video games and stuff if you want. Insane Coaster Junkie, how's it going? Welcome. Which Phantom's Revenge video did you watch? I've made like 10 of them. You got the documentary, you got the off-ride, you got the supercut. Supercut, I'm still really happy with how that turned out. But I mean, I guess it doesn't matter which one you watch. Just I do appreciate you watching all my videos. How's the audio? Is it coming through okay? Can you hear me all right? Is the music too loud? Ah, the Arrow to Morgan one. Okay. Let's make sure everything is coming through okay here. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm just making sure that everything sounds okay. And yes, I do plan to do another documentary on a closed park. I have a couple ideas actually. Well, the next one I do is going to be on a closed roller coaster, but most after that are going to be on closed amusement parks. I've been tossing around classifying all the documentaries under like a series name. I thought about calling them Amusement Anthology or something like that, so they could just be grouped under the same name. Because as long as I'm continuing to do this kind of thing, I think I should just create one category to group them under. Aside from that, the next video I upload is going to be another one for Retro Rampage, the retro gaming stuff. But after that is when I'm going to start working on the next amusement park documentary. New camera equipment for the coaster season. Now that's exciting. I just got a new lens last week, and I'm looking for a new microphone right now. I like this one, but I would rather just invest in one that's a little clearer, as well as a microphone stand for it. Because right now I just have this one on my computer desk right next to me. Is the stream coming through okay? Am I stuttery at all? Are we dropping frames? Hey, Heather's here! How's it going, Heather? She's at Disney World right now. Magic Kingdom today. The coldest that it's ever been, from what I've heard. At least anybody that I know that's been there. This is the coldest that it's been because it's 57 degrees at Magic Kingdom right now, which I can't believe because this is Florida we're talking about. Did I ever think about starting a podcast? I have. Oh, that's Ben. Hey, Ben, what's up? I have thought about starting a podcast, but I would need more microphones for that, because I would want to have more people than just me involved. I'd need more microphones. I need to get a mixer of some kind, and I would need some more room because I'm very limited on space in here at the moment. Video game documentary. I have thought about that. The closest thing I've gotten to like a canceled game is when I did Garfield: The Lost Levels, and that was a lot of fun to do. I would like to do another canceled game, but in the meantime, I do have some ideas for more videos. The the next gaming video that I'm doing is going to be about pinball machines. It's going to be like a kind of a pinball machine spotlight, and after that, I want to do a couple videos on more obscure aspects of video game hardware. Not really hardware. I'm talking about like demo units. I want to do a video on demo units. Is that Vincenzo commenting that? I have a feeling it might be. Oh, and thank you for the compliment on the documentaries there. I'm glad you're still enjoying them. The more time that passes and I go back and watch them, I notice more things that I should have done differently or I should have done better. So I'm glad you're still enjoying them. The one that I would definitely go back and change if given the chance is Six Flags New Orleans. That one is just it's so rough around the edges for me to watch now. And it's just I mispronounce some things. The music's way too loud. I get a lot of dropped frames. Well, no, not a lot of dropped frames in there, but a lot of footage that I should not have used that has nothing to do with Six Flags New Orleans. Like the intro. The intro's way too long. That's what I've gotten the most comments about. 24/7 roller coasters. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Well, I'm glad you liked them. Did any of you watch the one I did on Wild West World, my most recent one? Um, that's a park I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but it got no press whatsoever. Like it like because it only lasted 2 months. So that's why I did that park was because I wanted to bring back the documentaries with a smaller story that wouldn't take me like another 3 months to edit. The Geauga Lake one took me 3 months to edit. That's also because the computer I had at the time was a really bad laptop with a dual core i5 in it. It was really slow, not very good, not very good for editing at all. Do I think Cedar Point will get a 500-foot roller coaster? Those rumors have been going around for what feels like years at this point. It's almost humorous how long they've been around for. I feel like if any park gets one, Cedar Point would be the first one to do that, but I just have a feeling that it's not going to happen because wasn't that supposed to be built in Orlando and it just never happened? The one that was built with a tower in the center. If it does happen, it's either going to be in a huge tourist town like Orlando or Cedar Point's going to do it. But I feel like if Cedar Point does another roller coaster, they're not going to do the 500 foot. They're gonna do like another wooden coaster, maybe put it because I remember that rumor about them putting a GCI where Wicked Twister is right now. Thank you, Kevin, for the compliment on the Phantom shots. That took forever to make. I spent the whole summer filming it. The footage that I got in the ravine was the hardest to get because I had to walk 2 miles from. I parked by the train tracks in Duquesne, where the nearest access point to the bike trail is, and I had to carry all my camera equipment about a mile and a half, 2 miles down the road. It took me about an hour and a half to walk there and get to where Phantom is. So the other ones they were pretty fun to get, especially the ones from where you can see the brake run in the final two airtime hills. Those ones are there's a little like community with houses and stuff behind where Exterminator is. You can walk back there because Kennywood owns most of that land. I think there's only like three houses that are still occupied. But of course, one of them is right next to the where Phantom is. So of course, I'm standing in somebody's yard with my camera filming Phantom. Fortunately, they didn't come outside. I am planning on going to Kennywood a lot this year and doing a video for Jackrabbit's 100th year anniversary. Thought about doing a split screen between that footage that was filmed in the 30s of it and more recent footage. I am from Pittsburgh, yes. Kennywood is my home park. Uh, it took me forever. I have been spending the last like 3 to 4 days messing around with OBS and trying to figure out how to get all this stuff around me positioned where it is. And even then, I'm still having some problems. The live chat that's over here. My camera is mirrored, so I look at the live chat, which is actually over here for me. But I point this way. Um, I wanted to get the live chat to look different and instead of just looking like I copy pasted it off YouTube, but I can't get it to change, so that's still something I need to work on. As far as the logos and the scrolling text, that's all stuff that I've done in OBS, which is the live streaming program that I'm using. It is free. The other thing I need to work on is, as you can tell, I got steel curtain behind me. I am green screening myself out from the background, but I'm having some problems with that, mostly due to the lighting. You can see there's a hole in my head. You can see my hands. Oh, it's in this area. There it is, right there. You can see right through my hands. So that's some problems that I'm still having with the green screen. I just kind of wanted to do this stream tonight just as a overall test and a hangout to talk about some roller coasters and some old video games. I found the Marvel McFay music in an old video montage that was uploaded on YouTube in like 2006 that somebody did as like a tribute to Astroworld, and I found a couple different versions of it also on an old Astroworld forum. Had to use the Wayback Machine for it, but they were all like really short. So what I ended up having to do is stitch them together in editing in order to create like a full song. But even then, it was only like half the song, which is why I looped it instead to fit the full length of the video, and why it just fades out at the end, because the original song had no ending. Yes, I do watch Wally on YouTube. I'm subscribed to him. I've actually been to a lot of the abandoned places around here that he filmed. The most recent one that I've been to that he filmed was he filmed a steak and shake down at the waterfront that is empty. And I did want to go down again and look for the pin that he left. Yeah, OBS what has been a pain for me to use in Insane Coaster Junkie. I have had some trouble with it today, but I mean honestly, the past couple months I have been teaching myself to use Adobe Premiere, and compared to that, this was a piece of cake. I do I do agree Astroworld should never have closed down. It was a huge waste of money for everyone involved. That park should have still been there to this day. We could have had RMC, Texas Cyclone, and a ton of other coasters that, imagine if they would have torn down the theater at the back of the park, they could have fit another coaster in there. Hey, you got a season pass to Kennywood, Adam. I do too. I'm going to be there at least once a week this summer. I'll probably run into you. I do like the Penguins. I don't watch a lot of football or hockey, or because the Pittsburgh loves the Steelers, but I'm not really a big sports guy. But out of any sport, I would prefer to watch hockey if you ask me that question. Now, see, okay, Nintendo Logan brings up that there was a monorail system planned for Kennywood. That's that could actually be its whole video if you if you were interested in seeing that. But long story short, the story of that is that there was supposed to be a huge expansion for the Monfayette Expressway, the road that runs along in front of Kennywood, and they were supposed to expand that, and Kennywood was going to take advantage of it by kind of expanding outward a little bit, a little more room for the park. But they also own this land that's kind of up the road. It's pretty much known as where the old Kmart used to be. Now it's just an empty lot. Most recently, they used it to store all the pieces, all the supports and track pieces for Steel Curtain. But originally, they were going to build a water park on that land, and maybe a parking deck. I've heard conflicting reports about that. And they were going to have a shuttle system to shuttle you, a monorail system to shuttle you back and forth between those two locations. And with that, they could have also expanded the park into the parking lot too. So that was all supposed to happen, never did, because the Montfreyad Expressway expansion never happened. So I could do a video about that. I've thought about it, but I feel like, I do so much Kennywood stuff already. I want to do some new parks. What music do I use for the intro to Astroworld and okay, the intro to Astroworld, the music that plays during the drop on what did I use? I think I used Superman Krypton Coaster at Fiesta Texas there. The one that plays on the drop there is Amazing Arena, I think it is. It's from Knuckles Chaotix on 32X. I think I used Amazing Arena. Or I think it was the level that takes place in the greenhouse. I can't remember it now. I'm gonna have to look that up. But Six Flags Orlando? Or did you mean New Orleans? Because the one I used in Six Flags New Orleans, that one is Speed of Sound from Knuckles Chaotix, and pretty much everybody in the comments hated it. Well, what is that music? It's so annoying, which is why I've never used it again. But the Six Flags New Orleans intro is Speed of Sound from Knuckles Chaotix. Yes, the Best Buy at the waterfront recently closed. I saw Wally say he was going to do a video about that. Ben Felak, you've used Premiere too? I like it now, but when I first started using it, I was so confused. It was just overwhelming. I pretty much had to just follow a bunch of tutorials and stuff. Because when I was in college, they forced us to use Premiere. And because of that, I hated it. Because it wasn't what I was used to. But now that I was able to take my time, I think I know what I'm doing a little bit better. And because of that, I think the quality of my videos has gone up. I'm able to make them look a lot better. Oh, yeah. Do I like the Steelers? I hate the Steelers. Not me. I'm reading the chat. But I like the Steelers. I don't watch a lot of football, but recently my interest in the Steelers has spiked, just a little bit. Can you take a guess why? Look what's behind me here. I mean, I'm not really that big of a football guy, but it didn't seem like they had a good season though. I'm more interested in waiting for the Steelers Experience building to open at Kennywood. Six Flags was just quick for cash. Astroworld could have been ran year-round. It could have. It's warm enough down there. They could have done a nice Christmas event there. It pains me to think about what could have been at that park if they would have left it, because we could have had so many unique rides there. I mean, it was a Six Flags park where the majority of roller coasters there were Schwarzkopf. How many other parks can you say that about? It's hard enough to find one Schwarzkopf now, let alone 3 of them in the same park. What is my favorite Wild Mouse? Well, I hate to say I'm a bit biased, but I probably would have to go with Exterminator at Kennywood just because of the theming. But despite the fact that I am from Pittsburgh, Kennywood is my home park, I've never been to Idlewild. I want to try their Vekoma Wild Mouse that used to be at Alton Towers, because it's very rare and unique. So that might be my new favorite. I have never been to Six Flags New England. I have been wanting to go there for years. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze in a trip this summer. I would like to. I've already got 4 parks that I'm trying to hit up this summer, so I'm gonna try to fit in there. I never did go to Astroworld. I never got to go there myself. I did get to go to Geauga Lake when it was Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. I was only 5 years old, but I do have family pictures from that you can see that I used in the documentary. I don't remember much from it, unfortunately, but I did get to go. It was in 2001. That was its opening year. So we do have some pictures from that. Where did I leave off here? Yes, Evan, I am doing more documentaries on defunct amusement parks. I have one in the works right now. It's going to be, well, I don't want to reveal it just yet, but I am working with one of my close friends on it, and it's going to be about a closed roller coaster. But it's a story big enough that it'll fit an entire video. But after that, I am going to go into some more parks. I've got a huge backlog that I want to talk about. A couple off the top of my head. Nara Dreamland. I'd like to talk about Dinosaur Beach that used to be in, I think it was in New Jersey. I I really do want to talk about Williams Grove that used to be in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I I do plan to try to get permission to go on that property there and get some footage of the abandoned Williams Grove cyclone. Quentin Smith, I have actually never played Roller Coaster Tycoon, if you can believe that. I have so many friends that grew up playing it, but I never did. I never got around to it. Aardvark Barber, great work on the Phantom's Revenge supercut. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you enjoyed that. I think I've seen you in the Kennywood Connection Discord before. Thanks for watching my videos. That really means a lot. Insane Coaster Junkie, Adobe Premiere has been a struggle. It's been turning you away. It has been a struggle for me too. I had so many problems getting it to work correctly, and I still have some problems for me because it crashes all the time for me. I run into crashes all the time, and I'm constantly saving. So that's honestly my biggest complaint with it. But I mean, I couldn't even run it on my old machine. I built a brand new computer this past year just for the sake of being able to edit videos more quickly. Ben, I might need to call you up and send you a message because you might be able to teach me a thing or two about a Premiere. You probably know more about it than me at this point. You've been using it longer. Zachary Engel, hello, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I was not expecting the stream to be updating this quickly. Where was I here? I have never played Roller Coaster Tycoon, unfortunately. I would love to get into it, but I just never got around to it, unfortunately. They did Holiday in the Park at Astroworld? I didn't know Holiday in the Park was around that long. I thought that was something that was started after 2010. Wolf Among Us, I am from Pittsburgh. Kennywood's my home park. If a coaster at Kennywood got RMC'd, see, that's difficult. That's a question people bring up all the time because, all three of Kennywood's wooden coasters are classics. You really shouldn't tamper with them. I mean, as we speak right now, Thunderbolt's getting a huge retracking. They posted a picture on their Instagram last week of the first drop and the last drop enclosed in these tunnels because the whole thing's getting retracked, and which is good because it was running really rough. But out of all of them, probably Racer, because out of the three of them, I just find that one the most, I don't want to say bland, but it's just, it has the least interesting layout. I know it's a Mobius loop, but they could do something really cool with that. They could do like a Twisted Colossus layout or something. But honestly, my first choice would be just leave them alone. I still want to see the Ravine coaster down in the ravine behind Racer, even though that land is supposedly not stable enough. I mean, they could do a really long roller coaster there. I'm not talking like Beast or anything. I'm actually wearing my Beast shirt right now for my Kings Island trip. That was an amazing coaster. Where are the parks I'm going to? Nothing is set in stone yet, but I have been trying to go to more parks because I only went to 2 new parks last year. I went to Kings Island and Six Flags America, and I'm trying to plan some more. Just whenever the budget allows for it. But I'm planning to go to American Dream, King's Dominion, Six Flags Great Adventure, and what was the last one? I am also going to go film Leap the Dips at Lakemont Park, provided that reopens this year. You had a season pass to Six Flags Worlds of Adventure? See, that place was so incredible, even though I barely remember it. I just remember my feet hurting from walking so much because that place was so massive. I have never been to Waldemere. That was a park I was planning to go to last year, but it rained on the day I was planning on going, and so I just decided to put it off. I live close enough. It's about 3 hours away from me. I could make a day trip out of it, so I probably will do that. What is my favorite non-roller coaster YouTuber? Um, see, that's something I actually have to think about. Because outside of that, I do watch a lot of video game streamers as well. Because I also play a lot of games. I I wish there were more retro video game streamers because I collect retro video games. If I didn't have Steel Curtain behind me or a massive green screen that takes up the entire room, I would show my gaming setup over there. But it's the background I used in the Earthworm Jim and the GameCube video. So I'm gonna have to check my list here actually. I watch a lot of SGB, the Super Gaming Brothers. Some call me Johnny, and his brother Elliot and his friend Matt. Their streaming channel, the SGB plays. I usually put them on in the background while I edit. So that is probably gonna. I would probably say they're my favorite non-roller coaster YouTubers. And what park do I really want to visit the most? Six Flags Magic Mountain. It's got the most coasters in the United States. So the only problem is it's clear on the other side of the country for me. So I would have to plan that out well in advance. Oh, another quick announcement, just something I'm mentioning in passing. This is not official yet, but a couple friends of mine and I are in contact with Hershey Park. We should be at Media Day for Candymonium. Evan, I have thought about doing a Steel Curtain supercut. I actually think I do have enough footage of it right now to do one. But see, the problem with that is I don't want to give the impression that I'm recycling footage over and over again. I like to get new footage constantly. That's the reason why there was so much new footage in Phantom Supercut. I've had that footage since July, most of it. I wrapped up filming for it at the end of August, but I did most of it in July. I didn't put it in any of my videos, and I kept reusing the old stuff until the supercut because I didn't want to give people the impression like, oh, he already put that footage out. He's just recycling footage. You know, I like to get the new stuff. So I would really have to think about some new angles of Steel Curtain to get because I got most of them. When I walked on the bike trail to go film the ravine for Phantom, I tried to get a shot of Steel Curtain from down in the valley there because down behind Steel Curtain there's this storage shed down there where Kennywood keeps most of their props and extra stuff. They have most of their old stuff in there, including the Turnpike cars, because they never get rid of anything. They keep everything, including the old trains for Phantom, the ones that were both purple and green, not just one solid color. Down there, you could barely see the top of the lift hill of Steel Curtain, and I waited down there for like 25 minutes just to see if I could catch a train. But then I looked in the Kennywood Discord that I'm in. Yeah, Steel Curtain was closed that day, so that was a waste. How far am I from Kennywood? I am about 45 minutes away. So not too bad of a drive for me to go most weeks. This past summer I went almost every week. I wound up going to Kennywood what was it, 18 times over the summer. Which I consider a big success because I don't have a lot of days off because I do have a part-time job, and that's also why it takes me so long to make videos. I would love, just putting it out there, I would love to make YouTube like a full-time thing that I'm doing, but right now I can't support myself off of that, so I gotta balance both work and filming the roller coasters. I called off work to go to the Steel Curtain Media Day, so I think that was worth it though. I don't have the pictures from Geauga Lake scanned anymore, but I do have one that I can show right here real quick. If you guys can bear with me. I have it sitting over here. Okay, I am back. This is it. This is the envelope slipcover that it came in. I keep forgetting I'm mirrored here. So, it's just a shame that what happened to that place. That's my family. Little tiny Jonathan way over there. I wish I could figure out where in the park that was taken, but I haven't been able to narrow it down. But I keep that thing very close by. I have heard about Camelot. Camelot is one of the parks that has been on my list for a long time. I actually have a logo and everything ready to go for it, but I kept putting it off once I discovered Hard Rock Park, and realized I was going to be in Myrtle Beach that summer, so I could go explore it, and also do Wild West World, because I took a year off from documentaries there, because if I'm being completely honest, it just felt like they weren't as popular as they once were. Because the Six Flags New Orleans one is over 800,000 views, but then you go to something like Hard Rock Park that's sat at 14,000 for like an entire year, and Wild West World currently is it's only at about 1,200. Now that one is different because I can understand that because literally nobody has heard of that park, so it makes sense. But I took a year off because it just didn't seem like people cared about the documentaries anymore. Nowadays, I'm gonna do them again. That's why I did Wild West World. But as for Camelot, I do want to do one on that park because there's an abundance of footage out there that I could use, and that place is just really interesting because it had Tower of Terror, it had Nightmare, it had that weird Vekoma thing where it like breaks apart in the middle and reattaches. I forget the name of it. It was called the Rack. Yeah, long story short, just a very interesting park. Lots of interesting attractions in a really small area. Waldamir's your home park. That's pretty cool. You know what? I am planning to come there this summer. You should keep an eye out. Maybe you might see me. I've been thinking about how I was going to film Ravine Flyer 2 because that would be the main reason for me to go to Waldemir. And I was like scoping it out on Google Maps and everything, and I thought like the part that goes over the main road there on the bridge. I thought about like what if I climbed onto the hillside there and just pointed my camera at the bridge and tried to do that. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I really want to film Ravine Flyer 2. Ravine Flyer 2 and Conneaut, that was my plan for last year, was to do Ravine Flyer 2 and Conneaut Lake in one trip, just like a 2-day trip. But it just never panned out. Conneaut Lake is a hidden gem, I've heard. Did you see the work that they're doing on Blue Streak right now? They're completely rebuilding part of the lift hill. I'm really glad they're still putting so much work into maintaining that coaster. Oh, and Devil's Den, featuring the infamous gum wall. Definitely use the hand sanitizer after riding. You've been watching me since 2016. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's hard to believe that I've been on YouTube since 2008. Granted, I did completely different videos over the years, but how time does fly. Tim K, I am going to Hershey Park with Derek. If all goes according to plan, we will be there for the media day for Candymonium. Sign saying the pic. Oh, the Geauga Lake picture. Hang on. The sign behind us just says, if I can figure out where I'm at here, it just says Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. The banner behind us. This is getting chroma keyed out over here. But yeah. So, just says Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. You can see some of those in some of the footage that's on YouTube. They had those banners hanging around. Actually, I think most of that footage is from when it was Six Flags Ohio, but you get the idea. What kind of music do I like? Well, if you couldn't tell from my videos, I do a lot of video game soundtracks. Pretty much everything that I've used in my videos is from like Mega Man X or Freedom Planet, which is a fantastic indie game. Or Earthworm Jim, because I just did a video on that. Your uncle designed both the Johnny Rockets building and the 4D Theater building. At Kennywood? Well, he did a good job. I haven't eaten at Johnny Rockets a lot, but I did the 4D Theater a lot this year. They packed a lot into that theater for the relatively small space that it's in. But he did a good job. Do I like Regular Show? I used to watch that whenever it was like brand new, but I kind of stopped after the past couple of years. I know the show ended, but I just I kind of, it's not that I lost interest. I think I just moved on to other things. Honestly, it's not that show's fault. I rarely watch TV anymore. Whenever I am home, 9 times out of 10, I am sitting here editing stuff. Oh, okay, is Ravine Flyer 2 Supercut a thing that's happening now? I guess it is. I might have to spend more than one day there to get enough footage for it, though. See, that's the problem. If I do a supercut, I'm afraid that it's either going to have to be shorter or worse in quality, because I spent the whole year working on the Phantom one. I had to plan in advance an entire day just to go film at the bottom of the ravine. So if I do another supercut, it's either going to have to be really short or just the same shots over and over again. That's my main concern. There, I'm gonna change the music in the background here, or I'll keep the music off for a little bit, because I don't know how well my audio is coming through here, but I don't know, that might have been drowning me out. I was trying to keep it low, but let's see about Ravine Flyer 2 Supercut here. Ooh, there's an overflow lot across the street. I will keep that in mind. Might have to look that up on Google Maps after this. Peninsula Drive. That's the road that goes under it. That's where I was going to. I was thinking about going. Maybe if I walk along the road there and walk up onto the kind of the embankment onto the side, that'd probably be my best bet for getting a shot of the bridge there. Well, I'm calling it a bridge, but that's where the coaster track goes over the road. I would love to do a video on Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Uh, I've never been to the UK. I would love to go and get my own footage there. It's a little overwhelming to think about the travel and stuff because I've never really traveled outside the country before. Heck, I'm still finding my comfort zone with going to different parks in the U.S. I really want to visit as many as possible, but I would love to talk about it, if not just to talk about the big one, because that's one of the best aero coasters that was ever created. Oh, you're gonna do Ravine Flyer Supercut. Okay. Oh, you want some help? I'll get some footage for you. I don't know if I don't know if it's gonna compare. If you have well, I don't know what kind of camera you have, but I could contribute. My favorite ride at Kennywood, Phantom's Revenge. I'm sorry if that's basic, but it is my favorite. It always has been and it always will be. I grew up riding it as Phantom's Revenge. I never got to ride it as Steel Phantom, and it has so much history. Why do you think I did like five? I did like five separate videos of it on my channel. I was afraid that would be too much, but Phantom Supercut's going to be the end of Phantom for a little while. I don't want to oversaturate my channel with nothing but Phantom's Revenge over and over again. The only thing that could happen soon that would cause me to make another video on Phantom's Revenge is if Kennywood finally gets back to me and they find the Phantom's Revenge theme music, which of course they didn't in time for the video. If that happens, I'll make a video of the theme music with Phantom footage in the background, but it's just if that ever happens, which I doubt it will because I sent them like 5 messages about it. No Phantom stuff until then. A supercut of a flat ride. That's an interesting idea, but my main concern with that is that flat rides, they don't they're down. They're in one place. So I would have to pretty much run in a circle around the flat ride to get all my footage. So I feel like I would just run out of angles there and the shots would end up looking flat and boring. With the roller coasters, you can follow the track. They go all over the place. There's pretty much infinite opportunities to film it. Well, I sent you a picture when I went to Geauga Lake. I'm gonna have to find the pictures first. They're buried in a photo album somewhere in my mom's living room. I had to spend like an hour trying to find it when I actually made the documentary. But you were eating McDonald's. You're making me hungry. I'm probably gonna go get something to eat after this stream, but not from the McDonald's here. The McDonald's here failed their inspection last week, and so I don't go there anymore. Worlds of Advent. My picture is just inside the entrance gate. That sounds about right. I uh, I think that's what it is, but it's hard to tell because You can't really tell what buildings are in the background. Poor Kmart. There used to be one right like 5 minutes down the road from me. It's an Aldi now, but it closed. It closed about 2 years ago. It's a shame. I did like Kmart. I spent a lot of time in there on their video game kiosks as a kid. You know the three-sided ones that had a GameCube, a PS2, and an Xbox on them? I pretty much lived at one of those when I was in elementary school. How many credits do I have? Prepare to be underwhelmed. 83. I haven't even hit 100 yet. This year, this is the year that I am planning to hit 100 because I think that's the point when you get taken seriously, more seriously as a coaster enthusiast. Honestly, I've been trying to compensate for my lack of coaster credits just by filming coasters more often. My Six Flags New Orleans video is what brought you to my channel. That brought a lot of people to my channel. It's still the video on my channel with the most views. It's it's one of the most popular videos I've ever made. Long time ago, I had a video with over 2 million views, but it wasn't with roller coasters or anything. So, and that has long since been removed. But I'm glad that video is still getting so much attention. I do consider it still now a definitive history of Six Flags New Orleans, although there's going to be something new coming very soon that will probably take its place. Most of you have probably seen Jake Williams from Bright Sun Films. He's doing a full documentary on Six Flags New Orleans. I don't know how he did it, but he got permission to go inside the property and film it. So that will more than likely become the new definitive Six Flags New Orleans video. Because, I mean, for the longest time, I've considered the definitive Six Flags New Orleans video to be the one by the proper people, where they explore it, the two-parter. That one is excellent. That's the only thing that if I could go back and change for my documentary, I would go film Six Flags New Orleans, even if it was from the road. I just wanted to get some of my own footage in there. Mike's Coaster Adventures. Love your Defunct Park vids. That's what got me hooked on your videos. I do have plans for more roller coaster, theme park documentaries. I'm putting them under a new name. Well, thinking about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not. But the documentaries as a whole will be called Amusement Anthology. They're going to be there's just going to be a big playlist full of them. Right now, I do have that playlist. It's called just Amusement Park Documentaries. But I'm going to change that soon. That way we can have one name to find all the documentaries under. But I do have more documentaries planned. Not my next video, but the one after that should be another documentary. It's just going to be about one roller coaster, but I'm working on it with a friend of mine, and it's going to be a story long enough to cover the entire video. But after that, you should expect to see ones about places like Camelot Theme Park, Nara Dreamland. I want to do Dinosaur Beach, which used to be in New Jersey, and also I really want to do Williams Grove, that used to be in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, with the abandoned Williams Grove Cyclone. Insane Coaster Junkie. You got a GoPro though. I don't have a GoPro. My main camera is a Sony FS100. So that's what I used to film most of Phantom's Revenge Supercut. Anything outside of the park that was taken from the parking lot, like the close-ups of the lift hill, the stuff from the third level parking deck, and the ravine footage, and and the ones that were from behind Exterminator there of the brake run and the final few airtime hills. Those were all from the FS100. Some of the shots that were inside the park I actually took with my phone and I just touched them up. Those were just small pickup shots I filmed at the end of the season. I have not read The Outsiders before. Zachary Engel, your dad rode Steel Phantom. Well, that's lucky, or maybe it's not, depending on how much of a headache he had afterwards. But that's a credit I'll never get. The first half was great, second half was rough, which is why they only kept the first half for Phantom's Revenge. Which Kmart am I talking about that closed? There's a couple that I visited. The main one was in Belle Vernon, PA. The other one that I visited is in Altoona. I used to stop at that one on my way to and from college. I went to Penn State. Uh, Winter Buddy is heading out. Oh, okay. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining the stream. And thanks for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Oh, the Kmart in Shaler. Okay, I never went to that one, but I did see pictures of it when it closed. Ah, 82 credits. Okay, I'm used to being in the presence of the coaster enthusiast elite who have no fewer than 200 credits at least. I have friends that have over 300, and I just feel like like nothing in comparison. My top five coasters. I never really thought about it actually. I thought about doing like a top 10 list, but I never really put too much thought into it. I know my number one will always be Phantom's Revenge. I know I'm a little biased there, but that just has I have too much sentimental value with that one because I grew up riding it. Maybe I'll do a top five steel coasters soon, but that's something I would really have to sit down and think about. Favorite moment on Phantom. Um, that again, that's something else I'm gonna have to think about, but I can't answer that right now. Let me think. Uh, Yours is either the second drop or the pop up after the first turnaround. That pop up into the tunnel is incredible. That catches everyone off guard that I've seen who have has ridden it for the first time. All right, real quick, I am going to start some new music in the background. Let's do let's do what I used in the background of Phantom Supercut. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I may have blown out your eardrums there, but I'm gonna turn that way down. Still getting the hang of OBS, everybody. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's see. Where did I leave off here? Okay, my favorite moment on Phantom is probably either the first two airtime hills after going through Thunderbolt the second time, or the wave turn after the second drop. They shouldn't have closed the log jammer. I'm still conflicted about that because I liked log jammer. I have grown up going to Kennywood. Kennywood has always been my home park, but Logjammer was falling apart. If you saw it during its last year of operation, it was not in good shape. It was literally falling apart. So I can see why they removed it. I know why people were so upset about it, but I mean, we got this, so I'd say it wasn't a complete and total loss. My ideal ride? Well, are we talking about a roller coaster? Or are we talking about a flat ride? I would kind of need to narrow it down there because roller coaster wise, I prefer hyper coasters or the Gigas. I do like inversions, but much prefer a ride that just focuses on speed and airtime. I don't mind inversions at all. In fact, I loved Steel Curtain, but I just like going fast and being popped up out of my seat. Tim K, you rode the Steel Phantom. Lucky. Or are you lucky? I think you're lucky. Does your head still hurt? It might. Did you get whiplash? I kid, but it is easy to joke about Steel Phantom, but that thing was a marvel for the time. And in a lot of ways, Phantom's Revenge still is the way it interacts with the terrain. One of my favorite amusement parks? Well, I think Kennywood's an obvious one, but that one will always like hold a special place in my heart because that is my home park. I've always grown up going there. But outside of that, Cedar Point's on top there. I've been to Cedar Point 5 times. Have not been since 2016. Got some friends and I were planning a visit in May. Would love to go back there. Cedar Point, Universal Islands of Adventure, I always have a good time at. Dollywood, I really need to go back there, and Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Those are some of my favorite ones that I have ever been to. Haven't been to Dollywood since 2012, though. I waited 3 hours to ride Wild Eagle in its opening year. Whether or not that's worth it, I'll let you decide for yourselves. 50 credits. Well, numbers are numbers. I guess that is a good way to think about it. I see so often on like in the comments sections on a lot of roller coaster videos and the and on forums and stuff, everybody's comparing credits. I rarely ever like post mine on there just because, I don't want to feel inferior in comparison. That's why I was so glad to go to both Kings Island and Six Flags America this past year, because I could get over 20 credits in one shot. I mean, hey, I got Batwing, and that thing was dead for most of 2019. Credits aren't everything. Thank you. That makes me feel a little bit better. Rocky, here's my top 5. 54 credits. Time Traveler, have heard some great things about that. That drop out of the station looks awesome. Goliath at Great America. That's, okay, no, that's the RMC. Okay, that is, it looks really short, but amazing. If only it was longer. 3, Outlaw Run. Outlaw Run, I have not ridden, but, like, I have little to complain about with it, because that looks like it just goes way the heck out into the middle of nowhere outside the park and comes back. Fury 325, I don't think I'm going to get to Carowinds this year, probably next year, because the Cedar Fair Park I'm focusing on this year is King's Dominion, and you're going to laugh at me the reason for it, but I'm sure many of you know, since they closed Volcano, and now they closed Vortex at Kings Island, which I did get to ride this past year, thank goodness, I got it just in time. A lot of people say they were supposed to close Anaconda, but couldn't because they just closed Volcano, so I kind of just want to hurry out there and get the credit on Anaconda. But the second reason, before it's demolished, but the second reason that I want to go to King's Dominion is so I could finally reunite and ride Dominator. Because I have an old photo of me, like 3 feet tall, not even, just standing at the entrance to Batman Night Flight at Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. Of course, I was too short to ride it. So, finally, I am going to reunite with that coaster, and I'm going to ride it. I'm thinking about making a video about it called My Pilgrimage to Ride Dominator or something like that. But King's Dominion is the Cedar Fair Park I'm focusing on this year. Probably next year for Carowinds. And number 1, Lightning Rod. That is my main reason I want to go back to Dollywood. Haven't been since 2012. You were underwhelmed by Steel Curtain. That is one name for it. Can you go into a little more detail there? Like, what parts underwhelmed you? Was it not forceful? Were you disappointed with the lack of airtime? Because even I will admit that it does not have a lot of airtime. But granted, that's not the focus of the coaster. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people who didn't love Steel Curtain. Like, I think it was a really solid addition to the park, and they really did what they could with the space available. So, I was happy with it. Phantom is still my favorite, of course, but I'm just curious why you don't like Steel Curtain. Like, I'm not upset. Like, that's your opinion. I can see why people wouldn't like it. They should have closed Jackrabbit. Oh, now that is a controversial opinion if I have ever seen one. I don't think they can close that. It's 100 years old this year. It's a classic. That double dip still is one of the most impressive elements on a coaster because of how much it flings you out of your seat. I don't think they should ever remove Jackrabbit. I mean, if any of their 3 coasters got removed, it would cause an uproar because they're all landmarks. They've been around for so long, and they're all unique. It's such a hard thing to consider, It's the same argument as if you were to RMC one of them. Although I do agree with your next post. Kennywood does need a new water ride. Especially with the recent rumors that Raging Rapids is not long for this world. Apparently that one's in bad shape too, and that's probably going to go here within the next couple of years. But what other water ride could they do? If I had my choice, I would get a Mock Rides water coaster. They could stick that right along the back part of the park where Raging Rapids is. Insane Coaster Junkies top 5. All right, let's go. Ride of Steel. I'm assuming the Six Flags America one, or the Darien Lake one. Well, they're the same thing. I did get to ride the Six Flags America one this past year, and despite the fact that it's got that pointless straight section, in fact, every time I rode it, I yelled out, yeah, straight track, every single time I rode it. It was really funny, but I really did like it. Very forceful. That feeling of wind in your face, nothing but speed the whole time. Phantom's Revenge, much appreciated. Leviathan, that's interesting because I hear a lot of criticisms of that when people compare it to Fury 325 and say it's underwhelming, which is your next one. Fury 325 there, understandable, and Steel Vengeance, which I will hopefully ride for the first time in about 4 months, should be. Jason, my favorite coaster of all time. This shouldn't be any surprise, but it's Phantom's Revenge. It just it has a lot of sentimental value to me because I grew up riding it, and I just consider it so unique because of how it used to be a completely different coaster by a different manufacturer and how it interacts with the terrain. So I know that I have ridden coasters that many would consider better than it, but it holds a special place to me. Dominator is a good ride, but Intimidator 305 and Twisted Timbers, I am very excited for those, especially Intimidator 305. Here's another confession time. I have never ridden an RMC, so that should be changed finally this year. I don't know how I managed to avoid RMC for so long, but I'm finally going to change that. I apologize that it took me so long. Wild Eagle is not worth a 3-hour wait. Well, now that it's been like 8 years and I can think back on it, no, it wasn't worth the 3-hour wait. But think about it, at the time, that was the first and only wing coaster that was in the United States. So that was a big deal. And that's why it was such a huge line for it. And I was just so hyped at the time because at that time I also wasn't really a full-blown coaster enthusiast. I still would consider myself part of the GP at that point. So I just heard first of its kind in the US and knew for 2012 and thought, holy crap, I've got to ride this thing. So that's why we did. But nowadays, no, I wouldn't wait 3 hours for it. Wouldn't wait 3 hours for Gatekeeper either. No, Steel Curtain is not worth an hour and a half wait. I mean, 40 or 50 minutes is the max I would wait for it. Okay, Mike's Coaster Adventures, let's see. I have heard that criticism a lot, that it's not forceful. The most aggressive part of it to me are the transitions, especially the one that goes into the 0G stall and the final cutback. Those are the most aggressive parts of it to me. The crew couldn't load a train fully. That was probably the thing that had the biggest problem this past summer. This was a controversial opinion for the park. Kennywood did not have a soft opening period for Steel Curtain. They got the train on the track, they did their 1,000 test runs, they were like, okay, here you go, it's open. Because everyone was complaining that it was taking so long for them to open. Well, I think that kind of ended up coming back and biting them in the behind because they had so many problems loading the trains, the dispatches were slow as molasses, and most of the time they were only able to run one train. So I did hear that Steel Curtain received a modification towards the end of the Phantom Fright Night season. Originally, the train would need to be fully dispatched and up on the lift hill before the train on the brake run could be pulled into the station. But now the train can be immediately pulled into the station upon dispatch. So slowly but surely, problems are being addressed. I still do dislike Banshee, but okay, here's the thing. I have not gotten to re-ride it since that experience. There have been other coaster YouTube channels that did videos on Banshee. I know Coaster Daddy did one. He did a video where he agreed with me at first when he first rode Banshee that it was ridiculously rough. But then he went back and rode it later in the season and it was smooth again. So maybe I just went at a bad time. I don't know. So I looking back, I probably shouldn't have made that video about Banshee being rough. I passed judgment too early. So that was my own fault. How would Kennywood change if Cedar Fair bought the park? I really don't want to even consider that, but I mean, but then again, is Palace really any better? I do want to quickly mention that there was a time in about 2002, 2003 where Kennywood received bids from both Cedar Fair and Six Flags to buy the park, and they laughed it off and rejected them. So we almost got Six Flags Kennywood at one point, and I shudder to think about that. In fact, what you see behind me could have easily been Batman the Ride. I mean, it's already black and yellow. But if Cedar Fair bought the park, probably you're gonna laugh at this. Probably more consistent operations, because that is one of the biggest complaints with Kenny that I hear about Kennywood is that the operations are slow, and I will not defend that in the slightest. I know their operations are painfully slow, and their system of only running one train until about 2 or 3 o'clock, if the demand is there for it, is incredibly stupid. I will not defend that at all. But if Cedar Fair bought it, it's probably, I mean, Kittyland's going to be Planet Snoopy now, and Thomastown's, you can kiss Thomastown goodbye. I don't know what they would do about expansion though. We might see that water park that they planned to go where Kmart used to be. Kennywood needs a B&M, Zach Engel. I mean, I would love a B&M there, but we gotta ask, does Kennywood really have the budget for it? I mean, for Steel Curtain, they got a discount on it because it's a prototype, just like Skyrocket, and even then it was custom designed for the park. So and they went with S&S. So no Intamins, no B&Ms. I just think those Intamin and B&M is just out of the realm of possibility for Kennywood. Way too expensive. Insane Coaster Junkie, you were disappointed when you went to Kennywood. The staff seemed unmotivated and the operations were horrible. Yeah, well, okay, that was kind of what I was just talking about there when I went off on the tangent with the previous message in the chat. The very rarely have I seen staff at Kennywood that have actually been very excited. Now, that did happen a couple times this summer. There was this guy who worked at Jackrabbit. His name was Michael, and he was the coolest guy ever. He recognized me from my channel, and he let me ride in the back. He let me wait and re-ride Jackrabbit in the back, and he was just real cool. He was giving out random Kennywood trivia during the dispatches, and that was really cool. And there was this one girl, I have no idea what her name was, but she was dispatching Phantom, and she was doing a countdown because they have a speaker at the top of the lift hill. She was doing a countdown as they were going down the first drop there, and she just seemed really enthusiastic. I don't know what her name was though, but again, those are few and far between. So most of the time, the staff are just like, "There you go, go ahead, sit down." And the dispatches are painfully slow. Like I said, I will not defend the dispatches there. They are always slow, and their system of having only one train until midday is stupid. Oh, you missed Skyrocket and Steel Curtain. Well, you know what? I would go back just for those two. Skyrocket's actually faster now, ever since it reopened. I would definitely give it a retry. You have to kind of know what order to do the attractions in at Kennywood. You ever come back to Kennywood, shoot me a message. I'll meet up with you. Adam, you think that will close soon at Kennywood? What will close? Steel Curtain? Or I know I was talking about Raging Rapids a little while ago. In less than... Oh, Aero 360 and Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, ooh. I don't think Thunderbolt, just because of the retracking that they're doing on it right now. Aero 360 I could kind of see. Honestly, Aero 360 I could see more getting relocated. I always thought Aero 360 would look great inside the Phantom, inside the first drop area of Phantom. That bowl area where they usually have picnic pavilions. Because you could fit Aero 360 in there. How cool would that be to see it rotating around inside the first drop of Phantom? Either that or a drop tower. Can you imagine rising up and being at eye level and then rising above the first drop of Phantom? I don't know. I like that idea. Yeah, I mean, I could kind of see Aero 360 closing, but not Thunderbolt. What started my interest in roller coasters? Jason, believe it or not, Six Flags New Orleans. Now, hold on, let me explain there. Because at first, I had an interest in abandoned places. I was watching a lot of channels like Adam the Woo, and I stumbled across his video about Six Flags New Orleans from 2011, and I just was completely enthralled. I watched that video on repeat so many times, and it's I couldn't believe that a Six Flags park of all things is abandoned. Then I heard the story about it, Hurricane Katrina and the flooding, and it became sad. But then I looked up what the coasters were, and I saw all these manufacturers: Vekoma Boomerang, CCI Wooden Coaster, B&M Invert. I was like, what does this mean? And I started researching, and then I was just like, I just got captivated, and I was like, okay, if this inverted coaster was a B&M invert, then I've ridden Great Bear at Hershey. Is that made by B&M? And I was like, oh, they're made by the same company. And then I realized, wait a second, all these rides at all these different parks are made by a lot of them can be made by the same companies, and I realized that there's a whole industry for it, and then I discovered the enthusiast group, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So technically, I have Six Flags New Orleans to thank for all of my roller coaster videos. Still wish that park would reopen. Jason Cole, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us today. Kevin, Phantom is my favorite as well. Good, you have good taste. You got to ride Steel Phantom. Very lucky. I did hear about the rule to remove your earrings. Yeah, hopefully steel curtain operations are improved. Like I said, they did do that tweak with the brake run, so the other riders are not sitting on the brake run in the sun, just cooking in the sun there while they wait for the other train to dispatch. So hopefully that helps. You had a bad day at Kennywood. The adult swings were closed. Wave swinger or swing shot? I'm gonna guess swing shot. Aero 360 broke down. Oof, that's unfortunate. Phantom got stuck at the top. Oh, they had an e-stop. That does happen from time to time. Real quick side note, when I was filming Phantom's Revenge in the ravine there off the bike trail, I actually got an e-stop on video. I got the riders freaking out on the lift hill, and I got the ride ops walking up the lift hill stairs to tell them what's going on. It took about 13 minutes before the chain lift started up again. Black Widow was closed. Black Widow's still closed. It's supposed to reopen this year. Volcano was closed. That may have been in the time where they were transferring the Enterprise from Lake Compounce to Kennywood because their can't talk today. Their Enterprise or Volcano closed. Mike's Coaster Adventures. Top 3 reasons you will never go back to Kennywood. Let's see here. It's a ghetto park. Ouch. Well, I mean, I do hear that from some people sometimes. Rides are mediocre, and they don't take care of the park. I have heard that argument before. I mean, I'm not gonna like take that personally or anything, because you know I don't own the park, so I don't mind if you post that here. It's just I see that criticism all the time. It's just, you know, it's the part that's closest to me. But I will not argue that there are ways that the park could be improved. They need to improve their operations. I think just some overall landscaping and beautification is needed. And I will not shut up about it. Phantom needs repainted. If Cedar Fair bought Kennywood, they would have phased it out like Geauga Lake. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, I'm glad it didn't happen. Oh, Adam, trust me too. I am so happy Skyrocket's back. The park seems better than before now that it's open. It was like we got two new coasters in 2019. Yeah, there did used to be a drop tower. It was called Pitfall. It was a Intamin second generation drop tower. They closed it just because it was ridiculously expensive to maintain. But the fact that it was kind of perched on the edge of the downhill slope there where Phantom is, it made it seem taller than it actually was. And so I do kind of miss it. Kennywood does need a new drop tower. I wish they would put an S&S tower where inside Phantom's first drop, or somewhere. Just, you know, they have a good relationship with S&S now. Put a drop tower in there. They don't take up that much room. Insane Coaster Junkie. Yeah, come on back to Kennywood. Give it another shot. I just keep in mind that stupid rule with them running one train until midday. And Steel Curtain is really fun. Skyrocket's very underrated. I won't defend the second half of the ride where it just meanders through those turns there where you're just going back and forth. But the first half's excellent, including the cutback. We got 2 cutbacks in the same park. Yeah, a lot of deleted messages here. Oh, you have to go during Fall Fantasy. That's the busiest time. I used to go there a lot too because I was in marching band in high school and we marched through the park. So I do remember a lot going during Fall Fantasy. One of the worst times to go. The busiest time of the year. Just I didn't go during Fall Fantasy at all this year. I avoid it like the plague. Busiest time is Fall Fantasy. Second busiest, Phantom Fright Nights. Advice: don't go to Kennywood during Fall Fantasy. Agreed. Twisted Timbers got you into being an enthusiast. And you were obsessed with it. Well, that's probably going to happen when I ride it because it's going to be my first RMC. Hopefully the first of many. I'm going to ride Twisted Timbers, and then I need to make an effort to go to Six Flags New England and ride Wicked Cyclone because I've heard nothing but praise about it. Hey, Derek's in the chat. What's up? Oh, of course I'm coming to Hershey Park with you. You know it. I just wish we would get a date. When's Candymonium opening? When are we gonna do Media Day? Any updates on Six Flags New Orleans? I do follow the company that was trying to reopen it, the Padilla Company. They're on Facebook as Jazzland Park. They are still trying to buy it. There's a new the uh, the Industrial Development Board issued a new request for redevelopment proposals, and this is like the seventh time they've done it in the past 10 years, and it's so frustrating because you have this company that is pledging millions of dollars to reopen your park you're doing nothing with, because the infrastructure is already there for an amusement park, and you don't let them because you're afraid it's going to fail again. Okay, first off, the first park didn't fail. People say it didn't make money, but it didn't make money compared to Six Flags other parks because it was in New Orleans East, which is a bad area. This could be the chance to redevelop the area, starting with the park, and bring people back to it. And honestly, on its own, the park pulled in the same amount of people that Astroworld did. Okay, so like the city's just being so stupid, and I don't understand it. Hopefully, Jake Williams' documentary brings it back to the foreground here, and more people start talking about it. Um, Nina's here. I've seen your comments on my Facebook posts on my Facebook page. You're from the UK. Oh, you, you like the Earthworm Jim video. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like that. It was a pain to get so many different versions of those games, but I had most of them because I used to be obsessed with Earthworm Jim when I was in middle and high school. So thankfully, I already had the Sega CD version because that version is like the same price as a Nintendo Switch now. But thank you so much. I'm really glad you liked it. Oh, but the day after you went to Kennywood, Volcano reopened. Of course, just our luck, huh? Beautification is needed, definitely. Lots of stuff needs repainted. Uh, they would close Racer. Racer is an Ace landmark. There's a plaque right next to it. All three of their Woodies are Ace landmarks. It's next. It's to the left side of the Racer entrance, next to the shooting gallery. Mike's Coaster Adventures. They had an Intamin second generation drop tower that I think it was 350 feet tall. I want to say it was the exact same one as these are completely unrelated. I just know them because of the news story. But it was the same one as what used to be Superman Tower of Power at Kentucky Kingdom, the one that had the accident that severed the girl's legs. They did not. Kennywood did not close theirs because of the accident. They closed it because it was a maintenance nightmare. But those two were the exact same model. They were the second generation Intamin drop towers. The argument is used toward Kennywood while Knoebels is praised. I have not been to Knoebels. Would like to go there, but I don't think I'll be able to make it out this year. I already have like 7 or 8 parks on my list already. I really do want to go ride Flying Turns because it's one of a kind. And Phoenix. Enough said. Derek, when are they going to give us an opening date? Who knows for Candymonium? I need to know so I can get the days off. But I mean, I'll call off if need be. I am not missing Media Day, although I am not looking forward to carrying my camera rig around Hershey. It was okay with Kennywood because it's a small park. I'm gonna need to get a like a smaller DSLR or something. What's my favorite type of carnival game? Even though I like never win them, I always like those ones where you have to push the bowling ball and get it stuck in the rut there. Every time we go to Kennywood, my girlfriend and I have to play that at least twice, even though we never win. Oh no, never eat before you go on Volcano. It's never a good idea, or any enterprise for that matter. Kennywood was going to put a hotel where the Kmart used to be. First it was a hotel, then it was supposed to be a water park, and then a parking garage, and then nothing. And the land behind Exterminator, I don't know if they still use the houses there for their international employees. There are only 3 people. There are only 3 of those houses back there that are still occupied. The rest are abandoned or not in use right now, I guess would be a better way to phrase it. But they are owned by Kennywood. In fact, back there is where I got a decent amount of the shots that I put in Phantom's Revenge Supercut. And of course, one of the houses that's still occupied is right there back in the corner where I needed to go to film Phantom. So I'm pretty much standing in someone's front yard with my camera set up, filming Phantom. Fortunately, they never came out or said anything to me. I did have a guy come down the road there and park and go into the house, and he looked at me weird. That was kind of awkward. My most anticipated new credit this year? Probably Intimidator 305. The only Giga coaster I've ridden so far is Millennium Force, so I'm excited to see what the only other Intamin Giga is like, and whether or not I do black out on the first drop. After that, probably I don't want to say two in the same park. I was going to say Twisted Timbers, but probably Shellraiser at American Dream, because it's the steepest drop now, and it's a brand new park. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. I could see them getting rid of those houses, Jason. Them getting rid of them because they own the land. But the speedway, the gas station that's there, that's a problem, because now that's blocking them from further expansion back. You think Cedar Fair should sell off Worlds of Fun? I don't think they should sell it. I just think they need to invest in it, because I know this is beating a dead horse at this point, because so many other coaster YouTubers have mentioned it, but they literally have all the land in the world back there, and they're doing nothing with it. They could turn that place into a global destination if they really wanted to. Matt Mormon, best guess on when Kennywood gets their next major ride and what it will be. I'm going to second your prediction with a drop tower, because it's either going to be a drop tower or some kind of water ride, because we lost Logjammer, and there are rumors floating around right now that Raging Rapids is not long for this world. So we need a water attraction to replace it. I still think, and I'm still going to say this, I think a Mock Rides water coaster would fit well, just like Aquaman Power Splash or Pulsar at Wallaby, Belgium. I think it's Wallaby, Belgium. That could fit along the back side of the park, and they would still have room for maybe a family inverted coaster there. But as for the drop tower, I mentioned this before, but I think they should put a drop tower inside Phantom's first drop. Can you imagine, as you rise up the tower, you are on eye level with the riders on Phantom as they're going over the top of the lift, and then you keep going up? Put an SNS double shot in there or something, At least Candymonium's right at the entrance. That is true. We won't have far to go, but of course I would like to try to get footage from elsewhere in the park, because the only Hershey Park footage I have right now was filmed with my phone, and it looks okay, but given the option, let me use my actual camera. Jason, have they announced anything new for this year? I mean, aside from the Steelers Experience Building opening, nothing has been announced. I do plan to do a video on that if it's open on opening day. I'm gonna do two videos actually on Steelers Country. I'm gonna do a full walkthrough video of the entire area, just like showing off all the different areas and what it's like. And then I'm going to do kind of a then and now, because I have footage from when Steel Curtain was being built. So I'm going to do a then and now, showing footage from before the construction started, when it was just like a flat plot of land after Logjammer got removed, to Steel Curtain with some cross dissolves in there to show what it became. Flying Turns is pretty fun. Mike's Coaster Adventures heading off. Hey, thanks so much for joining the stream. Thanks for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. So yeah, Steelers Country is the only thing new for 2019 so far. Fingers crossed for a Phantom repaint. I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I don't care. I'm still going to say that Phantom needs repainted. But I did that whole Phantom's Revenge video about the refurbishment, and I still stand by most of those. Just checking my phone there. Sorry about that. How long have we been on for? 1 hour and 20 minutes. Jeez, how the time flies. Still feels like I just started. If Derek is still in the chat, looks like somebody there in the chat has an idea for your If I Own series. Might want to keep an eye on that. Yeah, Matt Mormon, that hotel project, that was on the expansion to the Monfayette Expressway. Can you imagine how different Kennywood would be now if that happened? We could have had a water park, we could have had a hotel, we could have had a monorail, rides in the parking lot. Well, what is now the parking lot? In an alternate universe, that did happen. Intimidator 305 is amazing. So I have heard. I'm probably going to marathon it this summer as much as possible. Imagine living next to Kennywood. Imagine trying to sleep during the summertime. You hear the screams of phantom riders rushing past your house. That also would be very convenient though. Just say, hey, I'm going to Kennywood, walk out the front door, and you're there. Zach Angle blacks out on an Intimidator's first drop every time. That's probably going to happen to me. I'm so excited to ride it. Half the trouble with me at parks is that with most large parks like the Cedar Fair ones or Six Flags, I need to spend at least 2 days there to, well, ride everything until I feel satisfied that I've ridden everything enough and get enough footage. That's my problem. Nintendo Logan 2. Oh, you work at Kennywood. I've probably seen you there before then. I'm gonna have to say hi this summer. Oh, oh, you're switching to rides. I'm definitely gonna see you then. Whatever ride you get put on. Lots of foreign people come during the summer to work at the park or to visit. Probably for both. But so they actually use those houses back there. And okay, at least they're getting some use out of them. Hong Kong Disneyland's second park will not happen because the government has plans to build houses right across the street. That's a heck of a location, though. Can you imagine living right across the road from a Disney park? I mean, if you'd want to talk about like the Disney World Resort, that's impossible because they own all that land. You'd be living across the road from a Disney park. That's unheard of here. Now, California, that's a little bit different because it's much smaller, and real estate's at an all-time premium. They could fit a dive coaster in Raging Rapids spot. Oh yeah, they could fit one, but it's a matter of whether or not they actually will do it. I think I'm gonna stop the music again just for a little bit. That's been going on long enough. The dive coaster would fit. You know what I would like? I would like a dive coaster down the ravine behind Steel Curtain, even though that land is supposedly not viable to build on. It's not stable. What's one ride at Kennywood that I hate? Garfield's Nightmare. I don't hate it. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure ride, but I just want to see Old Mill come back because I have so many memories of riding the previous version of Old Mill before they got rid of it in 2003. I just want to see that back already. Garfield's Nightmare is stupid. Although I still get a chuckle every time I ride it. Cat stew. Yum yum. It's disappointing. Oh, they scrapped the tunnel in the water fountain. Yeah, they went over budget. For a while, I thought they were seriously still going to do that, so I brought it up on a forum somewhere, and everyone was like, what are you talking about? They're not doing that anymore. But I think it could have looked a lot better. I mean, granted, the area still isn't done, and they did at least get the End Zone Cafe open in time, which I still didn't get the chance to eat at. The inside looks great, though, and the outside area, I like the Heinz Field backdrop that they put in the background there. It's kind of clever. Although I think they need to put something on the back side of it, because if you're riding on Thomas, it just looks like a gray blank slate. You don't get to look at anything. Put some Thomas characters billboards up on there or something. It can't be that hard. Phantom broke down a lot last summer. I'm assuming that you're talking about the lift hill. The lift hill on that, I didn't mention this in my Phantom refurb video, but the lift hill on that definitely needs to be fixed. I don't mean fixed, I mean replaced. It's still the original Arrow lift hill from Steel Phantom. So when you're on the lift hill, when you're in the station in lift hill, you're basically riding Steel Phantom because that track has never been changed. They just painted it, and the lift is still the same. I think we need Chance Rides to come in and just completely retrack the lift and replace the lift chain and motor with one of their newer ones, like the one they use on Lightning Run. I think that could just make it a lot more reliable. I know a lot of people like the sound of the Arrow chain lift, myself being one of them, but We have this is a time when we just have to consider it's needed for the longevity of the ride. Morgan is now defunct, but here's the thing: Morgan was purchased by Chance Rides, and Chance Rides still makes the parts for their hypercoasters, and technically they still do um, build hypercoasters. It's still listed on their website as a purchasable product. So they could, Chance Rides are now the ones who are responsible for the parts and upkeep. Well, not really the upkeep, but like refurbishments and stuff, providing the parts for Phantom. So Chance Rides were actually responsible for the new fiberglass trains that we got in 2014, the ones that are like solid purple and solid green. They made those ones, so they could retrack the lift hill and redo the lift motor. Chance Morgan that it is around. Well, it's just Chance Rides now. Although I like the name Chance Morgan better. Oh, Derek, I see you've been posting in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go in order here. Um, I have not been to Great Adventure yet. Hopefully going to this year. I have some I have some friends that live over in Philadelphia. We're talking about doing a meetup and spending a day or two at Great Adventure. Probably 2 days. I'm gonna need it because that park's massive. Oh, the picture that I liked. Yeah. No, you never see Kennywood Garfield merchandise. They used to have a photo of, not a photo, a statue of Garfield that would sit on a ledge in Kittyland. He had his arms crossed and stuff like this, and he would, it was just a photo op. They actually still have him. He's in the storage shed down in the ravine behind Steel Curtain. Oh, Zach Angle, I just saw your comment. All right. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted. Give me a second here. I'm gonna need to go back real quick and find where I kept it. I do the Splatoon music. Do I not have it anymore? I might have to read it off the CD. I thought I had some Splatoon music saved because I have the CD soundtrack, the original soundtrack CD. Yeah, I don't think I have it on this hard drive anymore. I must have not moved it over when I built my new computer. All right, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to do Splatoon music, unfortunately. um, I'm gonna put on this remix from the Game Gear version of Sonic 2 instead. Or, it could just not play. Isn't OBS great? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. You have to bear with me here. I'm still getting the hang of OBS. Here you go. Okay, little by little, I'm getting the hang of it. So thank you all for bearing with me. Alright, back to the chat here. I was honestly not expecting this many posts in the chat. I'm kind of surprised. Derek, you do need to visit Worlds of Fun, but when you do, can I come with? Because I would like to ride Mamba, because it's a Morgan. Anything by Gravity Group at Kennywood would be fantastic. But, where would they put it? That's the biggest problem. Okay, Kennywood's Buffalo Chicken Tenders. I like their barbecue chicken tenders. My girlfriend loves their Buffalo Chicken Tenders. I actually myself am not a huge fan of anything buffalo. I'm more of a barbecue guy. But my girlfriend Heather loves buffalo stuff, so she is like the connoisseur of those buffalo tenders. If I could change one ride at Kennywood, I would try to keep Pitfall instead of Black Widow. or just put a brand new drop tower there, because that was such a prime location for a drop tower. It was like right on the edge of that hillside. It's not that I don't like Black Widow, but you know, it's been closed for the past year anyway. Worlds of Fun has the same issues that plague Six Flags America. So you mean all hand-me-down attractions, lots of land that they don't know what to do with, and staff that act like they just don't care about that they're going to be there, and overall extremely slow operations? Just off the top of my head? I drive, let's go. Alright, you owe me gas money. Alright, I'm going to continue the messages. but before I forget it, Zachary Engel, I am going to show you something here on my live stream. This is Splatoon, the original soundtrack. I actually have it on CD. It's a 2-disc set. Like how they spelled it there? And it's 2 discs, and Judd, you have Judd on them there. It's hard to do this in reverse. So, I did used to have all these ripped to my hard drive. Must have been on my old one. So, I will have to get those back in the future. Jason would rather see a new steel coaster at Kennywood rather than a modern Woody. I do think Kennywood is set for a good long time on wooden coasters. They have 3 classic wooden coasters. Unless they do something by GCI that breaks records or is just absolutely packed full of airtime, I think they are good on wooden coasters. I would just like to see more steel there. Phantom's line with gum everywhere. Yes. Do any of you remember the Phantom Fling? It's they had this garbage can in the line there as you're approaching the station, and it had a big bullseye on it with a target, and it said Phantom Fling, fling your chewing gum towards the bullseye. Of course that's gone now, it was so disgusting, but yeah, there's just gum everywhere on those rooftops. Emily White, what about Candymonium? I am going to visit Hershey Park this summer to ride Candymonium. Some of my friends and I we're going to go to Media Day if all goes according to plan, and I'll have a lot of footage there for the channel. Zach, I will make sure to get Splatoon music for next time. Nintendo Logan, you would see a drop tower at Steelers Country. The question there is, where would they put it? Because they're packed right against the back part of the park there on that hillside. Now, I would love to see a drop tower over there. I mean, they already used Terrible Tower for the climbing structure inside the Steelers Experience building. That would have been my first choice to name it, but Touchdown is also very good. What if they put around the base of the tower? What if they put AstroTurf? I don't know. I just think I think that would fit in very well. Let me see here. Worst park experience I have ever had. I have to think about that one. Off the top of my head, it would probably be the time I went to Universal Islands of Adventure. Admittedly, stupidly, on the opening day of Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The line to get in to the Harry Potter section, not the ride for Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. No, the actual section, the whole land, Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Was 5.5 hours. No. Needless to say, I did not get into Wizarding World that day. But I did wait in line and got some butterbeer. I waited an hour and 15 minutes to get some butterbeer, so I don't know if it was worth it. I mean, it was delicious. Hey, Andres is here. Hey, how's it going, man? I haven't talked to you in over a year at this point. Are you doing okay? You been working on any projects? It's really good to hear from you. Thanks for the kind words. That really does mean a lot. If the Chiefs can make the Super Bowl, Worlds of Fun can get a new coaster. That is very true. What time are we at here? Just over an hour and a half. Okay. I don't want to keep the stream going too much longer. I'll maybe do another half hour for everyone to hang out. But at its longest, I'd like to stop at the 2 hour mark. But so now I've Matt, I never did do a curtain review. No, I didn't. I feel like I should explain myself on that one real quick. I've been a little conflicted with ideas for the channel lately, and I don't want to like fall into the category of just another coaster channel. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it, but don't want to do just like, off-ride video, review, off-ride video, cinematic, another review, interview, stuff like that. I just want to follow the base plan there. I like to do something different. So that's why I did the coaster discussion videos, because instead it's like a review where I give my thoughts on something, but it's covering a different aspect. So I'm just trying to do something different. It's not to say I won't do a review down the line. I like to do something different to catch people's attention. But as far as Steel Curtain goes, I really liked it. Now, I didn't like it better than Phantom, and of course its airtime is extremely lacking, but I was very impressed with its pacing. It's very relentless. You just go from one inversion to the other. It did live up to my expectations. I really had a lot of fun with it. Now, if the operations could be improved, that would really solidify it as one of the best coasters in Pennsylvania. Because the operations were just not good. But that was also because the staff were still getting the hang of it. They skipped to having a soft opening. So it's like, what do you expect? I would like to see if they improve the operations this year. I heard a rumor going around that SNS is addressing the ridiculously loud chain lift for next year. So we'll have to see if that was a lie or not. You think the story of the Beast at Kings Island would make for a good documentary? Yeah, you're close. You're close. You're very close to what my next video is. Well, the one after the pinball video. You're close. You're very close there. Oh, that's all I'll say. The Troubles of Conneaut Lake. That's actually a very good idea. I did think about doing something like that when I was going to visit last year. But it's all a matter of whether they'll let me in there with my big camera. I'm sure they wouldn't care, but I would need to get permission to get some behind-the-scenes shots of Blue Streak. I do like Racer at Kennywood. It's very unique because it's a Mobius loop. I mean, closest thing to that is either if you want to go to if you want to ride Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, or if there's the one in Mexico too. I forget what it's called. I'm sorry, my mind is slipping. They have the track and trains for the monorail? This is news to me. I know it was planned at one point, but never happened. I'm kind of surprised. It's near the airport. The airport near the mall. Well, I think I know what I'm going to do tonight after the stream ends. I'm just going to research this. They actually have the monorail. I find that really hard to believe. But I'm going to have to research that. That's really weird. Zach Engel, I did see that picture about the line for Hagrid's motorbike adventure. Kentucky Kingdom's social media is great. Did you see the one they posted? Like, we announced that T3 is alive and well or something. They know everybody hates it because it's an SLC. What are my thoughts on Sky Rush? Absolutely relentless pacing, great speed, thigh crush. If it wasn't for the restraints, I would give that coaster like a solid 10. I don't like the restraints at all. That's the only coaster within the past 5 years that I have ridden and felt some semblance of fear. Not because I was afraid of the coaster itself, but because when you sit in a wing seat, you only have a lap bar going across you, so your entire upper body, your torso, you can fly out from the side. You can hang out there, and you feel like you could fly out at any moment. It's exhilarating. I love it. Universal replied to the tweet. I did not see that. I have never seen Wally in person. I watch his videos, and a lot of the locations that he goes to in the Pittsburgh area are like a half hour away from me. They did tweak the speed of the chain lift where the train stops on Curtin. Okay, you know what, Matt, I think you were the one that you commented on one of my on my Kennywood season retrospective video about that. So thank you for that. Worst coaster I've ever been on is Mean Streak at Cedar Point. I didn't even have to think about that. I am so glad they turned it into Steel Vengeance. It turned my thighs into jelly. Can't wait for Orion. Agreed. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to get to ride it this year because I just went to Kings Island last year, and I'm trying to go to new parks every year. So I'm unfortunately going to have to skip out on Orion this year. But I'm really looking forward to hearing from everyone how it is. And I'm just glad that I got to go to Kings Island in time to ride Vortex. Conneaut Lake's pretty laid back. Okay, good. I had a feeling they would be. I'd also like to get some Devil's Den footage too. That's a funny little dark ride. But I would like to get like behind the scenes stuff, because you know how Blue Streak goes back into the woods. I would feel like I would need permission to go back there. Oh man, that is a lot of rides to give my thoughts on, so I'm gonna have to be really quick with this. Orion looks good, could have been longer. Understandable why they made it shorter, because they don't want to steal a spotlight from Millennium Force. Still excited. Maverick, very very exhilarating, extremely aggressive. One of my top 3 coasters at Cedar Point. King Dakar, have not ridden. Top Thrill Dragster's probably better. The big one at Pleasure Beach, amazing coaster. Have not ever been to the UK, but it deserves its place as one of the best aero coasters ever. Lightning Rod, hopefully it operates more consistently. Looks incredible. Boomerangs, you've ridden one, you've ridden them all. Railblazer and Golden Lasso Coaster, I'm lumping those two together. A great new idea that I can't wait to experience. Twisted Colossus, the sole reason I want to go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. No, it's not even for X2. I am getting messages. I did not know that. Oh, okay. My girlfriend is in the Magic Kingdom right now. She's at Disney World. So and they're about to do fireworks. So I am very jealous of her. Well, kind of, but not really, because it's 57 degrees in Florida. Every single time I've been to Disney, I have been sweating like crazy. They bought the track and trains from Busch Gardens, Tampa. Okay, I might actually have to send you a message. I'm very interested in finding out more about that. On Lebanon Church Road. Okay, I'm looking this stuff up later. Imagine if Son of Beast got an RMC revival. It seemed like they were teasing that for a while, weren't they? Because they put the fresh wood on the grave near Banshee, and they posted like number 5 is alive or something. Outpost 5, I think it is. Zach THD has a question. Ask away, my friend. I'll get to it in the chat here. Mike's Coaster Adventures is back. Yes, I am still streaming. Not for much longer, though. I'm within the next 15 minutes, I'm probably going to stop. I still have to go get something to eat. Haven't eaten yet this evening. My girlfriend Heather is at... she's at Disney World right now with some of her friends. She's very excited to be there. She did the Disney College program twice, so she still has a lot of friends that work down there. So I'm happy for her. She's getting to meet not meet all of them again, but reunite with them, I guess you could say. There could be a drop tower behind the steel curtain line. That's a very small space, though, between the train track and the gift shop and the steel curtain line. That's a very small space. It would be way too congested back there. Zach, I am not answering that question, even though you asked. That is, I'm trying to keep this PG, dude. Like, come on. It's 15 in Erie. What is it here right now? I'm gonna look up the weather outside. It is 24 where I am at right now. I am about 45 minutes southwest of Pittsburgh. What's going on in Busch Gardens, Tampa? Nothing is going on in Busch Gardens, Tampa. We were talking about Kennywood was planning a monorail system like more than 10 years ago, but it never happened. Apparently, they bought the track and trains from Busch Gardens, Tampa, and they that was supposed to be installed at Kennywood, but never was, and it's sitting at an airport. I need to research this more. I'm just learning this for the first time tonight. What am I gonna have for dinner? I don't know. I think I have some hamburger casserole in the fridge. Or I do live near Pittsburgh. Might just go to Sheetz. We do have Sheetz here. How often do I stream? This is the first time that I have streamed in over a year. I've only done one stream before, and it was for the announcement of Steel Curtain when they first announced the project. I think it was July of 2018. And I did that with my old laptop and the crappy built-in webcam. It was an absolute train wreck, very low frame rate. The audio quality was terrible, not good at all. So this is finally, it's taken like a year and a half now, but I'm finally trying it again, and I'm hoping this is working out a lot better. So I'm hoping you're all enjoying this, because if you enjoy all this enough, I might make this a regular thing. I would like to stream because a lot of my video projects, it takes me weeks and weeks to make them. So this could be a good way to fill the time, because I don't want it seeming like my channel has gone completely dead between videos. I do want to put it out there that I have ordered a capture card for future video game content so that I can record it, but I'm also going to use it to stream some games on here. So it's not just going to be me talking, I'm going to be talking over gameplay footage. So that should be way more entertaining. Of course, we can still talk about roller coasters. I'm going to call it just Coaster Hangout. Nintendo Logan, they are going to get rid of Garfield and bring back Old Mill. Man, I hope so. I know they've had a plan ready to go for years to bring back the Old Mill. I want to see it. I want Old Mill to come back. There was some footage posted on YouTube a couple weeks ago by, I forget the name of the channel, it was like National Dark Ride Association or something, of the Old Mill that I grew up riding, and man, it's just, that footage is priceless. You can't find footage of Old Mill anywhere. I don't know why, it's so hard to find. Feels like more coaster enthusiasts are live streaming these days. I do watch Coaster Daddy's streams. I was there for his most recent one. I think that was that last night? I think it was. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I never felt like I had the right equipment for it, because I don't want it to look amateur, you know? I mean, I know the green screening here does look pretty amateur because the lighting in the room here is not the greatest, but that is something I plan to address. And it's going to look a lot better once I get the gameplay footage in here anyway, because this window of me is going to be down in the corner instead. So I know it doesn't look the best. I just hope the quality of all this is passable enough for everyone. Because really, I'm just in the mood to talk about old games and roller coasters. Cedar Fair and RMC they've been arguing because they slow down Steel Vengeance. I have not heard of that. Gonna have to look that up. I'm so stuffy. I hate this time of year. You were at Waldemere when they announced Steel Curtain. That's kind of funny. Wrong park. Oh, I don't... yeah, Kappa has me frustrated too. But I've got all my stuff marked as not for kids anyway. I am about... I want to say a half hour to 40 minutes away from Cannonsburg. Oh no, I'm not going to do the streams all the time. I'm thinking like at most, absolute most, once a week. And even then, I'm probably not going to do it that much. Maybe once or twice a month even. Only 2 weeks to convert Garfield into Old Mill? That kind of worries me, because I feel like that might be a lackluster conversion then. Just like Firebird. Yeah, I went there. But There must not be a lot to it. Is it possible to buy a fast lane for Cedar Point without spending $700? Not really. I think it's like $150 if you want to get on Maverick and Top Thrill Dragster. I've only ever done the Fast Lane Plus once, and it was for my very first visit because I was going on a school trip, and I was with a group of people, and they all pressured me into it. Jackrabbit 100th anniversary. That's right. I'm planning on doing a video for Jackrabbit because despite the fact that Kennywood's my home park, I really have not filmed a lot of Jackrabbit. I think I have like 3 shots total of it. But then again, it's hard to get footage of because it's in that valley. The best place to go is in the pavilion that's right next to it. So I am going to do a video talking about Jackrabbit, and that's probably the one where I'm going to do a split screen between the current Jackrabbit footage and the old one that surfaced last year that's in black and white from the 30s. I'm going to do a split screen between that. So I'm pretty excited to do that kind of stuff. I want to slow down the Kennywood content because I want to focus on other parks. I don't just want to be the Kennywood guy, you know? Even though I do want to still make Kennywood videos. There's so many other parks out there, and there's so many other coasters that I can talk about and that I want to film because at the end of the day, that's what I like doing most is filming stuff. Still, Vengeance has become a maintenance nightmare. Well, hopefully it's open when I go. Glad to see some more local Pittsburghers in the chat here. Let's see if the Disney fireworks are over yet. I went on my Facebook, and the first thing I see is, I see Taylor Bybee posts that there is a multi-launched shuttle Giga Coaster planned for 2021 at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. That's going to take some time to sink in. Jeez. Okay, I'm going to read that later because I don't want to be ignoring the stream here. Check this website, made in 2000. What site is it? I don't know if the chat will let you post links or anything. There's a racer POV from the 60s. That might be another split screen. Okay, Matt, you asked the dreaded Phantom question. I'm going to do my best to not go off on a tangent for this, but for Phantom's 20th, I'm going to do my best not to just repeat what I said in the Phantom refurbishment video. But I have a couple points for that. Repaint. That's all I want is a repaint at the end of the day. I just want the ride repainted. It rides great. It looks like crap. It's like 5 shades of green. Okay? Repaint the thing already. I want them to redo the station. I know the building itself is historical, kind of, because it was the laser loop station, but it just needs updated. It needs air gates. It needs a modern look. This is the Phantom we're talking about. So it needs air gates. I wish they'd bring back the TVs in the queues. I want them to play the Phantom's Revenge theme music in the station or on the lift hill, or better, both. I want them to use the Phantom voice clip in the, I want them to use the Phantom voice clip in the, on the lift hill. In fact, you know what, you guys, I will play that for you right now, because I don't know if a lot of you know, including Matt, who asked the question there. I used the Wayback Machine to go onto Kennywood's website in the early 2000s, and they had a story on there for the Phantom's Revenge, and there were voice clips of the Phantom talking, some of which I used in the Phantom's Revenge supercut. So I'm going to show you that now. This might be loud, so bear with me here.
You dare vanquish the steel Phantom without my consent? fear the wrath of the Phantom. Mortals did not create the Phantom legend, and cannot sever my presence from Kennywood. Hear me and know. Only I can transform the Steel Phantom, or you will face my vengeance.
So that is the original recording that was on Kennywood's website for Phantom's Revenge. That was the backstory of it. So, you know, they're getting rid of the Phantom. The Phantom's like, hey, you didn't ask. You can, okay, yeah, you can send the link to the website. I will, you can use the email that's on my channel. Just go to the About tab and hit the email that's under the thing that says for business inquiries. It's the same email I use for everything. Just send it to that one. Oh, you're interested in Joyland now. I've thought about Joyland and doing a video on it. That was kind of I tried to kill two birds with one stone with the Wild West World video because I wasn't sure if there's enough footage to go around on YouTube to do a full video on Joyland, because there's honestly not a lot. So instead, I just settled to giving it a brief mention and using it as the intro to Wild West World to kind of set the stage for why that park sucked so bad. So maybe maybe it's I'll get to that later down the line, but it's not a priority right now, I wouldn't say. You saw me at Kennywood last year, dude. Come on up. It's I would have ridden Racer with you. It's come say hi. I love meeting people that watch my videos. I'm glad that people actually enjoy watching them. It just it's flattering. It doesn't need air gates. You love running into the VIP seats. I do like the Phantom crew. They're real chill. The concept photo of the tunnel that Phantom was supposed to have, that wasn't by any chance posted on a Facebook page called The Phantom's Revenge Kennywood Park, was it? Because if it was, I run that page. That's my Kennywood Park fan page. So, but yes, I have seen that photo before, and that would have been a pain to build, but I could see why they didn't include it. Oh, sorry, Zach. That the Phantom audio scared you. I had a feeling it might be a little too loud. Oh, you like the Tom Savini Terramania video? Thanks. I really don't. I don't get a lot of attention on that video anymore because it was just kind of a Halloween thing, and it was a one-off. I actually posted that. I had it set to post while I was at Disney visiting my girlfriend last year. Well, 2 years ago now, when she was doing the Disney College program. So I was in line for Slinky Dog Dash, and I got the notification that my video went live. Universal's new park, Epic Universe, looks very promising, but I don't think there's enough information about it out right now before I can make a solid opinion. They do have the trains and tracks to the monorail for the airport near the monorail. If they've been sitting for this long, they're probably in really bad shape, though. I would figure. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. Gonna have to look into that after the stream here. Speaking of which, we're almost at 2 hours. I am probably gonna end the stream here in the next couple minutes. Just saying. So if any of you have any last minute questions, feel free to post them in the chat. What if Six Flags sold the rides of Geauga Lake? Oh, the ride side. That could have been much different, although it probably also would have not lasted much longer because SeaWorld were also not too fond of running a park in the colder northern climate. My Facebook. Oh, the Phantom one. I have two of them. I have a Rampaging Rex Productions Facebook, which is, if any of you watching want to like it, there's a link to it in the About tab on my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, and you could just search Rampaging Rex on Facebook and you'll find it. But it's my Phantom's Revenge fan page. Just search on Facebook the Phantom's Revenge Kennywood Park. That's my page. The profile picture is a dark image of the Phantom himself, and it says the Phantom's Revenge returns in 2020. Oh man, you watch Defunct Land and Scott the Woz. I'm gonna make a confession here. The GameCube video that I did, the ridiculous GameCube accessories, the one that blew up, it's got like 320,000 views now. That was supposed to be a one-off. That was supposed to just be me doing a video in the style of Scott the Woz. Unfortunately, it kind of backfired, and I got a lot of people in the comments saying that I copied him. That was not the intention, and that's why I did like my own thing. I did just my own thing for the Earthworm Jim video. But yeah, I'm honestly flattered to be listed alongside Defunct Land and Scott the Woz. Those are some of the best of the video game reviewing genre on YouTube and the abandoned amusement parks. I second what Matt says. Let us know where we can look so we can look on Google Maps. I might just do a video about that. Sounds very interesting. What was I expecting Steel Curtain to be before the announcement? I wanted a modern Vekoma looping coaster like Lech Coaster at Legendia. I wanted it to be a modern Vekoma. Make a slideshow of pictures from Geauga Lake. I mean, it's going to be a real short slideshow. There's only about 7 pictures total. If you're impatient and you want to see those pictures right now, just go to they're in the Geauga Lake documentary, Worlds Once Adventured. They're in about the middle part where I talk about Worlds of Adventure. Thank you, Eddie. Thanks for joining the stream here and subscribing. That really does mean a lot. I would like to make the PS2 accessories video. The problem with that is that I did the GameCube video because I already had all of those accessories in my possession. I bought them back when I was in high school, and I just kind of had them, and I thought that would make for an interesting video. If I ever do get around to making a PS2 Intech video, I'm going to need to actively hunt down all of the parts needed. So that's going to be a challenge. So I'm going to make it, but it's not going to be coming anytime soon because those accessories pop up so very rarely, especially on eBay. Yes, Emily, I second what you said. Drop Tower inside Phantom's first drop. Do I think Vekoma will ever return to America? Man, I wish. I still am holding out hope. I would love to see one of their modern coasters come to the States because they've already proven that they can do amazing things. Not just with Lech Coaster, even though that's the most popular example. All right, everyone. We are over 2 hours at this point. I think that is enough for tonight. I am going to stop the stream. So thank you all so much for joining me for the stream. I say this has been a really successful first stream. I'd like to do something like this again. Probably not for at least another week. I'll post ahead of time on my community tab and on my Facebook page. I also have an Instagram under Rampaging Rex if you want to check that out. I post a little more often on there. So if you want to follow what I'm doing, because I try not to post on the community tab too much to avoid flooding people's subscription feeds. So outside of that, just check the Facebook and the Instagram. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining the stream. It really means a lot that you all watch my videos. Next video is Retro Rampage about pinball. After that, documentary. I will keep you all updated on that. So thanks again, and I will see you all next time. Have a good night, guys.